following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Virtuosos. With the NBA season in full effect, I mean, it's been about a month. We're in the NBA Cup. Like, we are fully into the NBA season. There's no warming up anymore. Every team is about who they are and what we are to expect of them. But we got to talk about a glaring issue with the NBA, and it's been a problem for the NBA, I feel like, for the last maybe 4 or 5 years. But from clutchpoints.com, it says, viewership to begin the 2024-2025 NBA season has not been what the league has expected. Although opening night was a success with the Knicks and the Celtics, as well as the Timberwolves and the Lakers, the same cannot be said for the rest of those games. Now, what those 4 teams have in common is they either are a big market or you got the face of the franchise. You got New York City's big market, just did a major trade, acquired Cat, a lot of storylines. Boston Celtics, defending champions, Jason Tatum, a pillar of the league. I wouldn't say face of the league. Anthony Edwards, a pillar of the league. Then you got LeBron James and the Lakers, big city, and you got the face of the league. But unfortunately, the first doubleheader of the season on ESPN last Wednesday declined roughly 42% compared to last year. And on Thursday on TNT's viewership, it declined by over 30%. Now, this is on the heels of what I thought was a really good NBA season in 2023 to 2024. You had also a lot of narratives going for a lot of teams. Realistically, it's just so hard to get really into what's hurting the NBA by just putting one finger on it. Damon decided that we did this video, and I didn't know it was this drastic. So what made you really think about this crazy decline?
Well, I'm going to say this. The video we had in mind, can't speak on it.
Yeah.
We'll say that. So I looked into the NBA, and I seen how bad the ratings was, and I've been fortunate, but unfortunately lucky to have watched more basketball this year because I usually watch my team. Can't say why I can't watch my team no more, but I've watched more teams around the league, and I've noticed that the ratings have dropped. I just looked it up, and I'm like, damn, the ratings is that bad. So I watched the product. And it's some reason is why some of it is opinion based, some of it is facts too. So NBA has a problem that it is fixable, obviously, and people are still gonna watch the NBA come playoff time. But for the regular season, you kind of need some type of regular season hit. Hopefully the NBA Cup brings that though.
Yeah. So with the NBA Cup last year, I think it did well. On top of my head, I'm pretty sure it did do well. I mean, it's not a huge incentive for like these guys, like the LeBrons, any kind of max player. We could throw out the Anthony Edwards. We can even throw out like Karl Anthony Towns, and like he's a max player. Like there's so many max players nowadays that like that incentive doesn't mean anything. Like the highest paid player is Jaylen Brown. Like why would he want what's $1 million? I think
$1
like,
million.
that's not like you want to get it for your teammates, but it's like if the face of the league is really not playing for nothing special, and that's kind of where it's like. We got the NBA Cup, you got the All-Star break, and then you got the playoffs. And it's like you're trying to incentivize so many things. It's like kind of takes away from another thing. And it's like you want that competition aspect, and you put it in early in the season, which is nice. But I think the actual championship of that is not until like January.
Yeah,
and then
like
you
that.
got the All-Star break middle of February, and you got playoffs starting at the end of April. It's like you got so much stuff going back to back. It's like what do you really pay attention to? How much stock do you put into it? Because I feel like the NBA Cup is not as easy to understand for a casual fan. They just see a blue ass, green ass court. They're like, something's going on.
NBA
I
Cup
don't know
game,
what's going
on.
on. But what do you think is the main reason why these ratings have declined?
I mean, based off this season, I think it's injuries. A lot to do with injuries. Obviously, there's more factors to it, but there's a lot of teams with players hurt. And you look at the prime time, like we just had the Lakers and Grizzlies play last night. No John Morant. After what John Morant said about not liking the Lakers, people would have tuned into that game. There's no John Morant. Teams like the Magic, they lose their franchise player. They're a team that don't really acquire talent. are people tuning into Magic games now?
No.
Kevin Durant he was having an MVP season at 37. That's the motherfucker old as shit, still out there hooping. He's out at least 2 weeks. Kawhi Leonard gone. I feel bad for the Clippers because he in the new arena. You got a chance to really get more exposure out there. He's out indefinitely. The Zion's out. Porzingis out for them. Middleton's out. Chet's out. Embiid in and out of injury. It's a lot of injuries that's going on in the league.
And the entire depth of positions.
That's what I'm saying. And it's hard to flex out. You're not flexing out games as early. So, you turn on TNT and you see Sixers and Celtics matchup, and it's fucking Kelly Oubre versus Tatum. It's not eye catching. So I would say right now for this season so far, the injuries have really been bad. I think this is one of the worst it's been. But that would be my main reason for it right now.
Yeah, the injuries are pretty bad. I think you guys obviously have it the worst. And being a small market team, when your most exciting player is Zion, and he's hurt, and then it's you got the young guys, you got the Herbert Jones, and we got the Trey Murphy who did come back last night, and you got Hawkins, you got DeJounte Murray who's been out since the first game of the season. It's we have nothing to watch in these Pelicans games. Same with the Magic. You said Paolo's out. Who wants to watch any Magic game without Paolo, who was having this great season to start? It's just stuff like that. You can't really call. I mean, some people were out before the season even started.
And I do want to say though, obviously, we talking about the casual, because you're not going all basketball watchers, the people that really love
90% of basketball.
That's what I'm saying. They're still going to somewhat watch these games, but we talking about bringing a new audience, bringing the casual fans, and boost the ratings up. That's the main. Everybody that has NBA subscription, they're not gonna be able to bring the ratings up. Unfortunately, you need the people that's watching the ESPN and TNT games to bring the ratings up.
Exactly.
So that's what we mean by that.
Yeah. Because when Chet went down, that's when I realized all right, who the fuck is playing center for the Thunder? At least they still have SGA, they still have Jalen Williams, they have guys that are attractions. But with all due respect, is SGA on a level to bring in viewerships compared to any other max player? I mean, they feel like they're all in the same boat where all right, well, I might watch them, but I might not. It is what it is. But like you said, Embiid, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, all were out at one point. I think in 1 week they all didn't play, which is pretty tough. Kevin Durant, like you said, had a hot start. Could have been MVP conversations. He's out. This is a typical lower leg injury that he has once every 2 months. It is what it is. But you still got guys like why is Victor not raising up the French market and bringing in viewerships like that? And it's how many Spurs games are you seeing on ESPN or TNT?
That's true.
We can't be we need a face of the league. And it's if we put Victor on ESPN and TNT, then maybe that might raise up viewerships. We can't be we got League Pass and we split League Pass into 32 teams. So I think one day, it was Monday or Wednesday after the election, every team played. Yeah. So it's 30 teams. How do you even disperse that correctly for viewerships? It's there's so many eggs in so many baskets. It's hard to have viewership overall be great, and there's no real great game. Every game is good. They all come on at 7:30 or 8. You got to pick one or two. It's odds are you probably aren't gonna want to pick two because your favorite team might be playing at the same. So you don't want to watch your favorite team play here and then a random matchup between whoever and whoever. So I don't know. It's at the end of the day, it's of course you want to watch, the upcoming guy that's taking over for Paolo. I would love to see Franz Wagner play great, but I don't want to watch Franz Wagner play.
Yeah,
not right now. I don't want to watch Franz Wagner play because that's not. I don't want to watch them put up 90 points. Mm-hmm. They're a terrible team without Paolo, and you want to see them have their best player and competing at their best because they were upcoming team. And when you lose your up and coming star,
who's going crazy?
You're gonna tank ratings no matter what.
And you brought up Victor, and Victor, you can't put the Spurs on television that much. I mean, yeah, you got Pop that's dealing with his health issue. Mm-hmm. Chris Paul getting older, but outside of Victor is you putting them on national television against like a Thunder or a Celtics or something like that.
Yeah.
We don't want to. Come on. Now. Like it's gonna.
And then
be
they
bad
lose by 17, and then Victor don't play the last 7-8 minutes of the game. And it's like, well, why don't we got enough ratings?
Why
Like,
did we watch
obviously.
Like I was here for that block in the first quarter. Quarters 2, 3, and 4.
Come for the block, stay for Jeremy Socha.
Like, come on, bro.
I don't know. I don't think I want to. But it's yeah. And last night, the Clippers, who don't have their first round pick, sat their starting lineup the entire fourth quarter.
Like, that's crazy.
Like you do stuff, you do stuff like that. It's like, how do you want people to tune in? Harden back in Houston. It's like, all right, there's at least a narrative there. Doesn't play the entire fourth quarter. It's like stuff like that. I mean, how can you really want to tune in for games when coaches and teams are doing stuff like this?
And I said this yesterday in the group chat. It was a nationally televised game between the Pelicans and Thunder yesterday.
And they can't call it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like, it is what it is.
You know
like,
what I mean? Like, and granted, yes, Chet was hurt, but who the fuck was Shea just playing against besides Brent Ingram? Like,
a lot of people don't know.
It's getting crazy out there. So.
It was mid-range versus mid-range, and I love that aspect of basketball.
Like, come on, bro. And that was another thing I was going to touch on, too. I think the styles of play is another reason why the ratings is going down. There's not really that many highlight plays. Like, you had Kyrie probably on the Cavs. He was crossing motherfucker up every week. Every week, crossing somebody up, scoring, highlight, cool. Anthony Edwards dunking on somebody. I don't know, John Morant. I know John Morant was hurt, but before then, like, John Morant must be sick. Like, he ain't dunk on nobody yet. Like,
he don't want to dunk on nobody no more.
It's no highlights. Like, obviously, I'm not all for the highlights, but I want to see some type of exciting basketball like that. The Warriors and Mavericks game, like, there was some type of rivalry, some type of form there. That's exciting basketball. There's no rivalries and there's no highlight plays, in my opinion. Like, there's no position battles, matchups. The best ones we get, honestly, now is like a Chet versus Victor, or like a Luka versus the Suns from that history. But there's no matchup battles like, oh, these guys are going to guard these guys. Like, oh, you're the best at your position, I want to be the best. There's none of that no more. You know, the Warriors, yes, Curry and LeBron were two different positions, but it was LeBron, who's always going to be at the height of the league, and Steph Curry, who was, you know, chasing him. Then you brought in KD. We knew the Warriors was going to win, but it still was must-watch TV. It was LeBron versus KD, LeBron versus Curry. Like, it was still must-watch TV. So we don't have that no more. We don't have that rivalry no more to teams to tune in for, like, them Christmas Day games. We couldn't wait for that Christmas Day game between those two teams.
Those days are over, man.
Days is over. It's over, bro. I don't know, especially with these injuries.
Yeah.
Those days is over, man.
For me personally, and people have said this, like, in, like, television, like, even, like, WWE is, like, the journey doesn't matter. I don't need to watch basketball in November, December, January to know that Jason Tatum, Anthony Edwards, LeBron, AD, all these stars are playing good. If they're healthy, they're good. If they're healthy, they're going to play. Like, you know everything. You can look up everything. You don't miss nothing. It's not like, all right, I didn't, like, last night you said it was Memphis versus LA. Great game. They got the history. They got the ability to pull in viewers. You got Ja, who literally said last night he did not like the Lakers. Literally got hurt 2 days later, I think. Now Ja's out. Who wants to watch that game besides for the fact that LeBron's in it? And it's like, all right, well, take my phone. LeBron got 10, 6, and 4. All right, I'll check it again later. And then and it's like, oh, I missed a good game. Okay. They play 2 more times the rest of the season. There's no appeal to like the NFL season is so different and so short. So it's like you feel you have to watch week to week because one game can change everything. If the Knicks are losing the game, winning the game, like, nobody cares until it gets like January and they're like 21 and 20. And it's like, all right, now you got to care because they're already halfway through the season. Who's going to care if they lose a game in November opposed to March when it really starts mattering and games start getting more interesting?
And it's really no appeal either. The NBA Cup,
it's nothing to pull you in.
I mean, Halliburton, I will say Halliburton became a star after the NBA Cup last year. Maybe that happens again this year, but after All-Star break is when the season, everybody says the season start. All-Star weekend is not good. The NBA Cup, a lot of blowouts, I will say, especially in those Final Four. Like, Lakers blew out the last 2 teams by like 60 combined.
Yeah, that wasn't.
But
it didn't accomplish what they probably thought it would. But so many people got hurt because the schedule was so bad.
Yep.
The idea is there. they have to obviously sharpen some things up. But I feel like the NBA Cup is just not something that needs to be in the NBA season. They need to find something else. But their scheduling last year was so bad that it was like, and then it's like stuff like that too. It's like the Wolves and the Blazers play back-to-back days. Like, who wants to watch that game?
Yeah.
Why would you schedule a game? How would you schedule something like that?
The scheduling is been. I've seen a lot of rematches. A lot of teams playing. It's hard to beat teams multiple times. Like I've seen the Spurs and Rockets play like 3 times already. Like shit like
it's
that.
Like yo, and it's like that's a good matchup. Like Sengun is on the rise. You got Wemby, and it's like they match up well. They usually have good games, but it's like if you played them so many times early in the season, it's like spread those out so the games don't matter. So like I think last year, I want to say the Celtics and the Pacers played by like 3 times by the end of the NBA Cup, and it's like, and they're gonna play in the playoffs. It's like we've seen them play already. And it's like, why do we want to keep watching these teams play? And then like back on the Celtics, like they were so dominant last year. You don't have to watch games in November, December, January to know that the Celtics are most likely going to be in the finals.
They're going to be back.
And they're probably going to beat whoever comes out the West because they're that good. And they're probably going to go back again just by watching opening night. You're probably like, all right, Celtics are going to win it all again, probably. There's probably nobody else that's going to beat them. We'll tune in again in January and see where we're at. And then we'll tune in at the All-Star break and see where we're at. And then when it start the playoffs, when they're first seed, probably 68-14, and they're about to go against maybe the Heat, and they're like, oh, maybe Jimmy Butler can get it done. And then it's 2-0, they go to Miami. You don't care anymore. Why would you care? Because that's literally what happened. And Jimmy Butler was hurt, and I think Tyler Hero was hurt. And it's like, what are we here for? What are we doing?
Yeah, so. and a lot of the young stars too, I will say, are on small market teams. Like I think like LaMelo Ball is going insane right now, but he's on the Hornets. Like you know what I mean? His name, his last name is the reason why he's still being talked about. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that like as a bad thing, but we've seen LaMelo Ball grow up. Like that's why we root for him. Like that's why we rock with him. Like imagine LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards had like some type of rivalry. Like they were the same draft. I think LaMelo took the Rookie of the Year from him. Anthony Edwards took that person. Like rivalries and stuff like that with these young players.
You wouldn't even know they got drafted in the same draft class.
That's what I'm saying. Is non-existent. Like it's crazy. Like I don't know. Like if you had to tell me right now to put 3 really good regular season matchups on right now, I couldn't do it. I think all you can do really is like Celtics Cavs. Celtics Cavs.
That's all you can really do.
Like I don't. The West, like the Thunder ain't healthy. The Nuggets are on and off. I mean, it is no appeal right now to the regular season with guys being hurt. Obviously, you know, we rock with basketball. Like we still gonna watch basketball and stuff like that. But to the casual fan, there's nothing to turn your TV on, rush home to watch right now. It's really not, especially with the football season still going on. So.
And that's really is killing them, realistically. Football is king. They've been king of the sports world forever. They pulling the most viewers. And people are like, well, like it doesn't make any sense. Like the NBA is more accessible, and you can watch all these games really easily, and it's easier to watch, and you don't have to pay attention to everything. And it's like, well, that's the point. Like football, like it feels like every play matters, and like you can miss something in the blink of an eye. With the NBA, it's like, all right, somebody coming out chuck a 30-point three or 30-foot three. I mean, I don't think he's gonna make that shot, so I can look away from my screen. If Lamar Jackson unleash a 50-yard bomb, I want to know who the hell he threw it to, because he ain't got that many people you can be throwing no 50-yard bombs to. It's like the incentive to watch those kind of big plays is like it's different. Like, oh yeah, I do want to see somebody get dunked on. Obviously, you want to see somebody get crossed up. You want to see game-winning shots. But last night, you know, it was the Knicks and Bulls, the 2 huge market teams, and didn't hear anybody talking about that game at all. Why would they care? It's the Knicks and the Bulls in November at the NBA Cup that they don't think either team is probably winning. Like,
Josh Hart sold my parlay, but it is what it is.
He sold a lot of people. I got words for him. I ain't gonna lie, but like I said, the journey. That's why I feel like more than anything, the journey doesn't matter. You know exactly. Like I don't really watch much like regular season NBA basketball like on a week-to-week basis. Like once football is on, like I'm locked in on football until football's over, and that's in February. So it's like, then the All-Star break comes up, then I'm like really locked into it. But I know everything that's going on. I know who's playing good. I know who's on the rise. I know who's title favorites, who looks really good, and stuff like that. But I'd be damned if I'm watching small market team versus small market team. Both their star players are out. I don't want to know basketball that much. I don't care to be the most knowledgeable person in basketball no more. Well, that doesn't mean anything to me. Like it just is what it is for me personally.
And another thing I want to touch on too, and this is it's kind of like an underrated, and it's not really nobody's fault, but the draft class this year, the names,
𝗥𝗚𝙗𝗚, man.
the names. There's no rookie that number 1 versus number 2 pick, or those 2 rookies that got some type of drama, like the 𝗘𝙤𝙢𝙢 versus Jalen Green. A summer league game was hype. Like every time they play in the regular season is hype. Like stuff like that is not there no more. Like I'm not gonna lie, I don't even think half the rookies this year are starting. Like there's no young players that just came in this year. It's like, yo, I'm going at LeBron. Yo, I'm going at Curry. This and this and that. They came in the league. They chilling.
But look how they treat the people that come in and say that.
That's true.
He don't know. Like Brandon Miller was saying, like his GOAT was Paul George. Like he didn't think LeBron was LeBron was never all that to him. And it's like, oh, who are you to like? See, you already cutting him off at his knees. Exactly. It's like, let him think how he thinks. Let him be a confident man in the sport. He's next. He's supposed to be. He wants to think he's next up, no matter what. Like regardless of what anybody think, he's supposed to think that I could be the face of the league. I could take all that over. I could take that responsibility to lead the country to gold medals. I could be the one to bring in the viewership to the NBA Finals. It's like when you look at like these confident players, they shoot them down. You look at 𝗥𝗚𝙗𝗚, who's been terrible. I'll be honest, he's been terrible. And it's like, who wants to watch a Wizards game right now? Do you want to tune in to see 𝗥𝗚𝙗𝗚? You want to tune in to see Jonas Valanciunas? Like I don't think you want to tune in to see Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. We've seen enough of that already. So it's like, even though Jordan Poole is playing great, that is not a knock on him. It's like nobody's gonna tune in a Wizards game to watch them play. They
not
don't
the
care
number 1
about
pick, not the 3rd pick, not the 4th pick, not the 5th pick.
Like by default, you will see rookies, obviously, but you won't care. You won't care. You're not gonna care. And it's like as much you think you're gonna care, you're still not gonna care. Like you could try to force yourself to care about these guys, but it's the rookies that are on these really good teams that you're gonna pay attention to more. Like it just is what it is. Like it's no other way to put it besides that's just where we're at in the NBA like season. And it's like I'm looking at this article from I want to say when the schedule right, like actually it was like 2 weeks for the season. It's about must-watch matchups, and they had the nerve to put the Sixers versus the Clippers November 6th.
Like that just.
Let's be honest here. We already knew Kawhi wasn't playing, and I do think Paul George played in this game, but Embiid was said to be out by October 14th. Like this is when this article was pulled out, and it's like you really gonna tell me that you put the Sixers and the Clippers as a must-watch star-studded game, knowing that Kawhi is out, knowing that Paul George was hurting? Like, are we serious? Like, is that really a star-studded matchup? I mean, but in the same breath, they put Kings versus Bulls, so it's like what are we talking about here?
So let me guess. All motherfucker gotta do is lead a team and it's a must-watch game.
It's a must-watch game, I guess. I mean,
let's put Victor on the goddamn Celtics, and then let's see Celtics and Spurs. Let's really get down to the nitty gritty.
Like, we really nobody want to watch that. Bro. It don't have the same gravity as a KD leaving a Westbrook. So that was drama. This is not drama. This is
at all. The only one we're gonna get is Curry versus Clay. That's the most, and that was enough. That was enough
for me for a November game. At the honestly,
that's what I'm saying. That's the best we're gonna get. Like all these players leaving these teams. I mean, we don't. They usually left a worse situation, so I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, we're like it is what it is. I mean, obviously there's a lot of facts for the NBA. Like we can obviously revisit this when football's off. And it's a battle more between basketball and hockey. But when you balance in basketball, hockey, and football with college football as well, as like NBA is never gonna pass that ever. That's been like that forever. So, more importantly though, like I said, we do love the NBA season. We touch on the NBA season throughout the entirety of it. Some teams are playing better than others. Damien, who's not featured in this video, has a championship contending team. My team can't stay above 500. He's starting for his team next time they play. So it's like it's a lot of things going on for all three of us. But like I said, we will touch base on certain things that we noticed. But this is something that was very glaring and very disappointing, more or less. Like as a fan, like obviously disappointing. You want to see more matchups and more moments that matter. But as casual fans coming into the game, it's gonna be hard to pull them in. And as a diehard fan, it's like we can watch every game if we want, and still not gonna matter. We're only 10% of this big ass pot that they want these ESPN, TNT, ABC games to pick up the league. So that's how these players get their money. They ain't getting no money from the damn league pass. They get that money if you tune into the big televised games. But with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate all the support, and we'll see you guys on the next one.